Good morning, it's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself. And today I'm gonna go out on a limb and do one last video on this topic. I'm really praying that YouTube does not pull this video down because this would be my last strike, but I just can't help myself. We do live in free countries. It is okay to express our thoughts, our opinions, and our views. As of yesterday, we now have Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in Canada who has COVID yet again for the second time. He's had 2 vaccines and 1 booster. So he's had 3 shots and he has now had COVID for the second time. We have Dr. Fauci who has just tested positive for COVID and he has had 2 vaccines and 2 boosters. So he's had 4 shots and he's now positive for COVID. So back a year ago when I made a video titled Why I'm personally choosing not to get the vaccine and laid out my reasons, that video was my first video pulled down from YouTube within an hour of uploading it. What I stated in that video was that I wasn't sure and I didn't believe that they were safe and effective. That went against the narrative at the time, and so my video was pulled down. We have people, including the people who are telling us to get vaccinated, who have caught COVID. So effective? You be the judge. I'm not going to answer that because I don't want this video to be taken down. You answer that question. Have you had COVID? Have your friends and family have COVID? Have they gotten vaccine? Do you know anybody who's gotten the vaccine and also gotten COVID? Have they spread COVID? Have they transmitted COVID? Have they caught COVID? Now we know even the people who have been pushing this, even Mr. Vaccine himself, Bill Gates, we have Dr. Fauci, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, have all tested positive for COVID, and now even more than once in Justin Trudeau's case. So effective? You tell me. Safe? You tell me. To date, here's the list of adverse events from the VAERS database. This is no joke. Where is the public outrage? Where's the investigation? Where's the inquiry? If anything, this database is underreported. It's been known over the years to be way underreported. Safe? We have these numbers here that are being completely ignored. And to top off my extreme frustration this morning, I watched this video. Take a listen. I want you to really let these words sink in.
We didn't really understand the fatality rate. We didn't understand that it's a fairly low fatality rate and that it's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of like flu is, although a bit different than that.
So even the person who I would call Mr. Vaccine himself, Mr. Bill Gates, has just admitted that this is very much like the flu. This affects mostly the elderly, and it is not fatal. Did you hear that? Did you hear it? Let's listen one more time.
We didn't understand that it's a fairly low fatality rate and that it's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of like flu is, although a bit different than that.
When I suggested that this was a relatively safe virus with a low fatality rate and only the elderly were getting hit, and so the elderly should have had a choice to whether they wanted to get vaccinated or not, and rather not experimentally inject the entire population, my videos were taken down. Not only were people like myself's videos taken down, but we were told that we were giving out misinformation and disinformation. We were looked down upon. We were marginalized. And the people who chose not to go ahead with the experimental injection because they didn't think that the benefits outweighed the risks, some of them lost their jobs. Some of them lost their homes. The economy has fallen apart. We've been locked down for a number of years. We've had our lives disrupted, our relationships disrupted, the economy disrupted. We've had a country divided. And now he wants to go and admit what we were saying all along. So safe? You tell me. Effective? You tell me. And pushing these and mandating these for the whole of the world, when we now know, when Bill Gates himself has just admitted that it's much like the flu, low fatality rate, and really only fatal in the elderly. That's his words, not mine. Those are his words, not mine. So why then are we still on a push for more vaccinations? Why are we still pushing for children, for babies, for the young? Why was this approved only this week when this information is known, and now widely accepted? And I guess I can't say it on YouTube, but they can. He can admit it. So why are we going forward putting children potentially at risk with something experimental when even those pushing these same vaccines are now admitting that the children aren't affected? I'll leave this with you, food for thought. Again, I really hope that YouTube does not take down this video because these are not my words. This is not my data. And I have not been vaccinated and I have not caught COVID. I've tested every time I've had a symptom. I have never tested positive for COVID, yet many people are now testing positive, have tested positive for it, have transmitted it. So this is definitely not a pandemic of the unvaccinated. This is definitely not a pandemic of the unvaccinated. And I hope that we can now put that to rest.
That it's a fairly low fatality rate and that it's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of like flu is, although a bit different than that.
So you know what to do. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it around. And I'm not going to do any more of these for a while, but I just had to chime in there and say this because it's frustrating, it's obvious, and after listening to these words, it's a slap in the face to those of us who have been ostracized from society for saying the same thing over the last 2 years.